Have you ever stood at a crossroads? One road familiar and comfortable, the other challenging but full of promise? That's exactly where Israel stands in Joshua 24, and it's where every believer still stands today. Joshua, old in years but burning with spiritual clarity, gathers the people at Shechem, the very place where Abraham first received God's promise, and he speaks as a man who knows his time is short, but his mission is not. His voice cuts through the noise of routines, idols, and distractions with one timeless question: whom will you serve? If you've ever wondered what real commitment looks like, or how one decision can redirect the course of an entire generation, this chapter is your wake-up call. Sunday, you were there. Joshua gathers Israel at Shechem, the birthplace of the covenant promise. Standing where Abraham once stood, Joshua reminds them of everything God has done, from calling Abraham out of idolatry to delivering them from Egypt, parting the Red Sea, defeating their enemies, and giving them the land they didn't earn. Over and over, God says, "I gave, I sent, I brought, I delivered." Joshua wants Israel to understand something vital. Their identity is not built on their strength, but on God's grace. When Joshua moves between they, the ancestors, and you, the current generation, he is reminding them that God's story is ongoing. They are the living continuation of the same covenant. Today, the church also lives in that chain of faith. Our choices and our obedience affect the spiritual health of those around us. Monday, in sincerity and truth. Joshua now presses the point. Fear the Lord and serve him in sincerity and in truth. This fear is reverence, deep respect for God's power and holiness. Sincerity means a whole, undivided heart. Truth means faithfulness, the same steady loyalty God has shown to them. Joshua challenges them to remove the idols their ancestors carried for generations. Idols may not be stone statues today, but anything that takes God's place in our hearts becomes an idol. Serving the Lord with sincerity means aligning our actions, desires, and decisions with His will. Serving Him in truth means living in a way that reflects His character: dependable, steady, trustworthy. Tuesday, free to serve. Joshua gives the most famous challenge in the entire book: choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve. He does not pressure or intimidate them, because true love cannot be forced. Immediately, the people respond with passion. "We will serve the Lord." But Joshua pushes back. He warns them, questions them, makes them think. Why? Because promises made in emotion can fade when tested. Israel had pledged loyalty before, only to drift into rebellion. Joshua wants them to understand the weight of their words. Serving God requires humility, honesty, and dependence. It is not a casual vow, it is a daily decision. Their promise must be rooted not in excitement, but in a deep relationship with God. If these messages are blessing your spiritual journey, take a moment to like, share, and even join our membership program to help us reach more people with God's Word. Your support keeps this ministry growing and active. Wednesday, the dangers of idolatry. Even after their bold answer, Joshua urges again, "Put away the foreign gods among you." Not past idols, present ones. Hidden idols, tolerated idols, idols that quietly shape decisions, priorities, and desires. Idolatry today begins subtly, not by bowing, but by shifting our trust or affection towards something else. Joshua then calls them to incline your heart to the Lord. That means leaning toward God, choosing His voice, His way, His truth. The people respond, "We will listen to His voice." But the chapter leaves a silence. It doesn't say they removed the idols. The story ends with the question still open. It waits for each generation, including ours, to answer personally. Whom will you serve? Thursday, finishing well. Joshua's story ends quietly, but beautifully. He is buried in the land God promised, no longer wandering, no longer fighting. Eleazar the priest is buried. Joseph's bones, after centuries of waiting, are finally laid to rest. 3 burials, but not a sad ending. Rather, a powerful declaration that God keeps his promises. Joshua's final act is not a victory, not a miracle, but a covenant reminder. His legacy is faithfulness. He finished well. As long as he lived, Israel served the Lord. The question for the next generation, and for us today, is simple. Will we continue in that same spirit of devotion? Faithfulness cannot be inherited, it must be personally chosen. Friday, reflection. Ellen White describes Joshua as a leader with a burden for true reform, someone who understood that outward religion without inward surrender means nothing. Many Israelites were still formalists, but Joshua called them back to genuine, wholehearted commitment. The covenant is not a one-time emotional reaction. It is a relationship built on trust, obedience, and love. Even the stone Joshua set up served as a witness, not of their empty promises, but of God's unchanging words. Every generation must choose again whom they will follow. A short Bible story. Think of Elijah on Mount Carmel. Israel stood divided between God and Baal, uncertain whom to serve. Elijah challenged them. How long will you falter between two opinions? When fire fell from heaven, the people finally chose God. That moment reminds us that each decision matters. We must choose God wholeheartedly, as Joshua urged his people. Joshua could boldly say, like Paul, "I have fought the good fight." His strength came from trusting God completely. Our victory will come the same way, by choosing God daily. If this lesson has helped you understand true commitment, type in the comments, "Today." Thank you for watching. Like, share, and if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe and join to support. See you next quarter, come year 2026.